Okay. So, what are aspect ratios and how have they changed over the years? Let's take a quick look at that because, well, there has been quite some change in the film industry over the years. And currently now, there's some modern resolutions and aspect ratios that are being used for content creation. So let's get this question out of the way right now. And that is that resolutions and aspect ratios are not the same thing, but they are interconnected. This video is being shot on 8K DCI, so the aspect ratio is the DCI aspect ratio, and the resolution is 8K, which means if you have like a standard definition video resolution, you can have it in 4:3 or 16:9. So the resolution will change depending on your aspect ratio. That's that. Silent film format from 1892 was 4:3 aspect ratio, as you can see right here, or also known as 1.33:1. This was because film cameras were not invented back there, and when they were, all that happened was they used the 35mm film from photo cameras and put them together, which was in the 4:3 aspect ratio. Academy ratio 1932 was a 1.37:1 aspect ratio. Why? Because audio was introduced into the film industry, which meant the image had to be slightly moved over to make space for the audio strip. Let's take a look at scenery, how it looked back then. Now we move into a decade of new widescreen formats. Why? Because home television was introduced and people could just stay home and let their kids watch cartoons on the TV instead of going to a theater, spending money to get there, because most people lived in the rural areas away from cities, which would make travel time. Also, buying food at theaters was more expensive than just sitting home and eating your home food. So all these things made revenues in theater drop because no one was going to theaters. So the film industry was like, okay, we need to fix this. And the fix was widescreen films. Let's take a look at some of the aspects and formats that came out over the years. Cinderella 1952 was a 2.59:1 aspect ratio widescreen format, the first of its kind actually, using 3 35mm film cameras to shoot and 3 35mm projectors to showcase at the theaters. It was very expensive, but people loved it because it was new and it was truly awesome. CinemaScope 1953 was a 2.35:1 aspect ratio widescreen format made by 20th Century Fox using not 3-lens camera technology, but a singular anamorphic lens, which could stretch the image and get you the same widescreen viewing experience, but without the hassle and cost of using 3 different cameras as well as 3 different projectors. This made widescreen filmmaking way more usable. VistaVision 1954 was a 1.85:1 aspect ratio widescreen format that was shot with a 35mm sensor rotated 90 degrees, which gave a much more higher quality image out of your cameras. Todd A.O. 1955, a 2.2:1 aspect ratio widescreen format shot using 70mm film, so that you get a much sharper and crispier image so that it can be displayed at theaters at a larger size. Take a look at this Vista. MGM 65 1957, a 2.76:1 widescreen aspect ratio. This was just a different company's approach at 70mm film. Nothing actually special, but just different approach. Super Panavision 70 1959, a 2.2:1 aspect ratio, a refined version of MGM 65. Super Panavision 70 was also the last widescreen format for this decade of innovation by all these film companies to create new widescreen types to raise revenues in theaters. Imax 1970, a 1.43:1 aspect ratio, and this is, as you know, the most used one to date, and it's still being used in theaters right now. It was like VistaVision, but VistaVision did with 35mm film rotating at 90 degrees. Imax did with 70mm film rotated at 90 degrees, and you get this beautiful scenery. HDTV 1996 16:9 aspect ratio. This is the most commonly used aspect ratio nowadays everywhere. You look on TV, news, or let's say YouTube videos, or like your videos on Venmo, or videos in your online classes. They all use 16:9 most likely if they've updated to the latest format, because 16:9 was created by engineers or film engineers, I don't know, some kind of engineers, to make a middle point between 4:3 square-like video and 2.35:1 cinematic-like video. And 16:9 is that perfect middle point, so you can display both types of content, 4:3 and 2.35:1, and have the least amount of black bars, top and bottom, or left and right. It's truly a great aspect ratio. Take a look around. DCI 2005 17:9 aspect ratio. This is what I've been filming this whole time in. I've been filming 8K DCI, and as you can see, it's great. It's a little bit wider than 16:9, and I love it. I truly love it. It just adds more of a little bit, just that little bit of cinematic feel to your videos. And who doesn't like a little bit more cinematic feel, you know me? And there's also 9:16, which is new to me as well, because like, I mean, I don't usually film in 9:16 because, well, it's for phones. That's what it is for. This is what an aspect ratio that was made, or better say, it's more popular as this kind of content now because of stuff such as TikTok, YouTube Shorts, as well as IGTV. I don't know how I feel about it, but let me tell you, it is popular. This is about, I think 2018 was when it started being popularized, but who knows, maybe it was early, maybe it was later. Hope this was an interesting and informative video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys later.